Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And Joe Biden has been inaugurated officially today as of 12 p.m. Eastern Time as the 46th President of the United States of America. And a lot of the policies that we're going to see are going to be changing. However, a lot of our national political environment is largely going to remain the same. And I'm going to talk about why. I'm going to have 5 takeaways from what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, what we're going to be seeing over the next 4 years during the Biden administration. I'm not really going to be talking so much about policy, but I will be talking more about politics as a whole, talking about the national environment and what exactly the takeaways are and what is exactly going to happen over the next 4 years. So we're going to talk about this, and the first takeaway is this wasn't about Trump. It's not. It's not really about Trump. Trump was definitely somebody the left wanted to take out, but they're not ecstatic because they know and understand that Trumpism is what they're really after. It's about the national populist movement. It's about the anti-establishment movement that has taken place in this country that the neoliberal establishment hates vastly. It's not just about the president. Obviously, the president was who they were attacking, but his supporters are the real people that they have a problem with. Donald Trump was just in the way after all of these years. He's now going to be gone for 4 years. However, the left is not going to give up their takes and attacking his administration and his supporters. They're going to keep going. If anything, they're going to amp up the attacks because no matter what happened after all of the hardships that happened over the past 4 years, the media put Trump through every single problem. You had COVID, you had potential shenanigans at the box, and Trump still comes up 40,000 votes away from 4 more years across 3 states. They still realize that Trumpism is not going away. Donald Trump, the most popular president in the history of the Republican Party in terms of within his own party, he had like a 93% approval rating consistently. He got like 95% of the Republican voters. And this is not going away. Trumpism is not going away. It is deeply rooted within the Republican Party. The left will do everything possible to demonize Trumpism, but it's not going away. And that's exactly what they are attacking because Trumpism is what challenged the neoliberal establishment back in 2016. Trump in 2016, he ran a campaign against big business, against special interests. He ran a campaign against free trade. He ran a campaign that was pro-immigration restrictionism. These are all policies that the establishment dislikes. However, these are policies that have a lot of appeal to many individuals living in rural middle America. And as a result, they came out big for Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020, and they realized that Trumpism is not going away, and they are very, very afraid of what possibly could come in years to come, whether it's Trump running in 2024 or whether it's another candidate that would espouse Trumpian ideals running in 2024, 2028, 2032. That's what they're trying to box us out of. They're trying to box us out of the political arena in future elections. They're going to want to go back to the false dichotomy. They want a Republican Party that's more like Mitt Romney, more like Nikki Haley, more like Dan Crenshaw, have those be the main figures instead of people like Donald Trump, who effectively are brash and bold and they're anti-establishment. So that's exactly what they're trying to do. And we're realizing this, and they tried to deal with the Trump administration over the past 4 years. They tried to minimize its potential. Even working in the administration, some of the people were doing their best job to sabotage it from its original agenda. And we're going to talk about step 2. And step 2 is the swamp runs deep. The swamp runs deep. It just does. Donald Trump really gave in to the establishment yesterday. He gave in. He revoked the lobbying ban that he had in place that prevented lobbying from politicians 5 years after office by executive order. He ran on that. It was part of his 100-day agenda. He actually ripped that up, and he broke that. So he also did not pardon Snowden. He did not pardon Assange. However, he pardoned Kwame Kilpatrick, the disastrous mayor out of Detroit, who was the worst mayor possibly in the history of the city, and that's really saying something. So he pardons Kwame, he pardons a couple of rappers, but he doesn't pardon Assange, and he doesn't pardon Snowden, and he doesn't pardon a lot of people that he should have pardoned, but instead he goes out there and he pardons Kwame Kilpatrick and Rod Blagojevich, as we saw earlier in the administration. So why is he doing this? And it's mainly because we know that if he pardoned Snowden, if he pardoned Assange, if he didn't pardon some of these other characters, then we know that Mitch McConnell would do his best job to go out there and actually convict him, to prevent him from running again, and to put a stain on his legacy. So Trump decided not to do it and caved in. It's a sad thing that that happened, but it's the way it is. And the fact that the swamp runs this deep to the point where they can even control the Trump administration really shows us that we need to do a deep cleanse out of the Republican Party, the GOP swamp, because that's the main problem. That's what's holding the party back. That's what's holding the movement back. It's mainly the GOP. It's mainly the GOP establishment. And it's sad to say, but it's true. The Republican Party has by and large failed us. That doesn't mean that we need to start a third party. We can do some cleansing of it on our own. We could talk about primaries. There were several successful primary challengers that were underfunded compared to the incumbents that actually worked in the 2020 election, so it's very possible we are going to be talking about 2022 moving forward. And either way, there is a chance that we have to potentially gut the Republican establishment, but it really just shows that that runs deep. And that's all this conviction was about. They used the tragic events that happened at the Capitol as a vehicle to slander the president, to slander his supporters, and that's what they decided to do. And I knew it would happen. That's why I said it was incredibly dumb what happened. Didn't accomplish anything, but something like that, it was inevitable to happen at some point because people are angry. And as a result, this is where we're at, and they're impeaching the president on his way out for something that he didn't do, for something he didn't incite, and they'll continue to lie about it. It's Charlottesville 2.0 all over again. But that's really the way it is. That's exactly what the media is doing. That's exactly what the establishment's agenda is, and it's to sabotage Trumpism, and they'll do anything. They will take any event and use that event as a vehicle to slander the president and try to even turn his own party against him. And they likely would have been successful if Trump decided to go ahead and do what he should have done and pardon Snowden and pardon Assange, but instead we get Kodak Black and Kwame Kilpatrick pardoned, which it is what it is, and I could see why Trump did it. I'm not going to be entirely angry at him for it, but the establishment and Mitch McConnell really put him in a bad position, so it's sad, but that's the way it is. Speaking about that, this is the third takeaway. We are the plan now. I've heard so many people say over the past 4 years, trust the plan. A lot of people were just believing what certain people decided to say about certain events, about certain potential theories, about things that were going to take place but never did. And there is no plan. Nobody is coming to save us. Donald Trump cannot save us at the moment. It's up to us. We have to rebuild. We have to rebuild at the local level. And it starts with ourselves, self-improvement. Nobody can actually save this country except for people like me, people like you. And that's where we're at right now. So nobody's coming to save you. The plan does not exist. Everyone says trust the plan. It didn't happen. And it wasn't really going to happen from the beginning. But at the same time, what Donald Trump had done throughout his presidency, he has a movement, 75 million people who are not going away. And as a result, it's up to us. The movement is in our hands now, and it's up to us to actually make something happen at the local level politically. And hopefully 2022, we can rebuild and build up. And eventually 2024, find a candidate who will actually be an authentic conservative moving forward, who will hopefully stand up and govern in accordance to the 2016 Donald Trump original agenda. So that's takeaway 3. Takeaway 4 is that conservatives need to stop whining about double standards so much. Now, it's okay from here and there to point out double standards whenever necessary. However, when the left controls everything in society, when the establishment has so much power, whining about double standards doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't change any minds. It doesn't do anything. That's the bottom line. And we saw what happened this past week in New York. There were riots that were 10 times worse than whatever event took place in the Capitol building. Nobody's going to be labeling them terrorists. Nobody's going to be labeling that as an insurrection in the mainstream media. And we're going to have to just deal with it because the media, they control the power. They control the narrative. The left controls the narrative. The establishment controls the narrative. We don't control the narrative. So whining about double standards does nothing. I see so many people out there do it all the time. And from here and there, I understand pointing out double standards is different from sitting there and just whining about it entirely as the basis for the entire argument of everything when it comes to politics. But the bottom line remains the same. Politics is inherently hypocritical. There's always going to be caveats, but we need to focus on ourselves, improving ourselves, so we can actually go out there and go into the political ring and defeat the left in 2022 and 2024. That's exactly what we need to be focusing on, not just get caught up in these word games, not just get caught up in these double standard games, not try to focus on appealing to the left's moral framework so much. I don't want to hear people make arguments about how Democrats are actually the real racists or whatever. It doesn't really get us anywhere. That's not how we're going to win. That's not how we're going to expand the coalition. And we need to look at how we can actually improve, make that outreach, continue to make those gains in Middle America. So it will be the left who will not be able to win another election ever again instead of the right. So this leads us to takeaway 5. We still are the future. National populism is not going anywhere. The Trump movement is not going anywhere. If you look at the electorate, if you look at many of these studies that have been done, whether it was 2016 or 2020, most Americans are actually socially conservative and fiscally moderate. And if we are able to expand on the economic populism sphere of things and keep that alive in the party, keep alive the anti-establishmentarian rhetoric, keep alive the national identity rhetoric talking from a cultural perspective, then we will be able to win the future no matter what. And that's really the bottom line, because going back to takeaway 1, we know very well that they want Trumpism gone, and 5 and 1 tie in together. The GOP establishment is dead if we decide to grow some stones in the primary. If we decide to grow some stones at the voting booth, it will be done for them, because that's exactly why they're trying to purge Trumpism. I mean, we've seen many people within the establishment talk about de-Trumpification. That's exactly what they're trying to say, because they view us as a threat. We've seen this by many times over the past week. We've seen this type of rhetoric by celebrities. We've seen this type of rhetoric by other elites in the media. That's the way they are. They claim Trumpism is a cult, yet this is what they're saying. They're saying Biden, the lowest energy candidate in the history of American politics, is the second coming of Jesus. It's absolutely just ridiculous and cringeworthy. The guy's a dementia patient, but what can you do? And again, whining about it too much is not really going to get us anywhere in the process. But as I said, it's very important that over the next 4 years, we do focus on rebuilding ourselves. And Trumpism's not going away. It's not. They want it to go away. It's not going to go away. And we're not going to give in. And we're not going to let it go away, because we're going to stick true to what is right, to what is just, to what is true. And we're going to go out there and still win the future. We're going to stay white-pilled. We're not going anywhere. So let's get through these 4 years. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. Become a member. Donate to the Patreon or Subscribe Star. Links in description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.